Welcome to the Healthy Way Podcast with Shahi. I'm your host, Shahi Taruti. My intention with this podcast is to teach and inspire you to reach your maximum potential in your health and life and to become the healthiest and best version of you. I will be interviewing world-class international experts in the health and wellness global community. Our topics include lifestyle, nutrition, fitness, mindset, and spirituality. Periodically, I will also be tackling health topics that I'm passionate about sharing with you. Either way, you're in for a treat. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our time together. Welcome to episode number 5 of the Healthy Way with Shahi Podcast. And I'm so excited today to be interviewing soul healer Melissa Habibi. How are you, Melissa? How are you doing?
Hi, I'm so good, thank you. And so honored to be on your podcast today. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for being my guest today. And the topic we're discussing today is energy healing. It's super exciting. I always like to talk about energy. Whenever we go to places, we can feel the vibes of a place. When we walk into a room in which there's some kind of energy, we can feel the energy of the place. Sometimes we talk to people and we say, this person has a good vibe, and you really like to talk to certain people. So, we talk about energy all the time. We know that everything is energy. And today I would love for you to get us more familiar with really what energy is, and you as a soul healer, how can you help people really manage their energy? So why don't you tell us, what is energy healing?
Right, yes. So, our bodies are, we are vibrational beings and we live on a vibrational planet. And so, you may have heard the other term for energy, which is prana or chi. So everything is about energy flow. Our bodies are made out of, energetic matrices, and we have energy fields, and we're sustained energetically as well. That energy that you wake up every morning and you have, it comes from somewhere, right? It comes from light, it comes from source. And so energy healing then is a way to channel energy through and direct it into the body. Energy is easily accessible. We can pull energy from the universe. We have a lot of energy filtering onto our planet from different planets, from astrological alignments, from eclipses. So everything, is, impacted by energy a lot. Mm-hmm. So what energy healing does is it really supports you on that level to bring you back into balance. So how an energy healer would work, usually it would be a non-touch it would be a non-touch treatment where they will be kind of directing energy into the body, into different chakras. You have 7 chakras in the body. The base. Yeah.
So, why don't we talk about the chakras? Whenever we talk about energy healing, we talk about the different chakras. Some people really already know what chakras are and how to manage their chakras. I'd like to introduce for everyone who doesn't know that the different chakras. Why don't you tell us what are they and how each chakra affect our energy in a different way?
Yeah. Well, we, like I said, we have 7 main chakras in the chakra system, and each one is sort of in charge of that particular area of the body, with organs associated and glands associated as well. So the base chakra, it's taking care of the reproductive system and that kind of area of the body. That looks after the security, your feelings around security, your feelings around safety, and your ability to ground into the earth. Mm-hmm. The navel chakra is your emotional self. It's where you can suppress a lot of emotions, but it's also, our womb space, our connection to creativity and fertility. You have your solar plexus chakra, which is your power center, which is where you hold your life force and your energy. This is the most, one of the most important chakras to work with, especially with energy management. Okay. Then you've got the heart chakra, which is, of course, the ability for, love, relationships, unconditional love, healing through pain, sadness, and grief, and being able to, work through that pain in the heart to, open up the heart. And to have more of an open-hearted consciousness or open-hearted relationships in your life, honesty, truth. Yeah, so the throat chakra is all around communication and self-expression, the ability to express the unique energy,
Mm-hmm.
boundaries as well, because you need to communicate in order to do that.
Sure.
Then we've got the third eye chakra, which is your intuition, your inner knowing, your foresight, clarity. And then the crown chakra is, the higher chakra that supports you to connect to the cosmos, the universe, to receive higher guidance, to connect to your higher self.
Excellent. So in a perfect world, we need to have our 7 chakras always flowing, make sure nothing is blocked, no energy is blocked, like for us to be really flowing with energy. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. Correct. And that's what the energy healing does. You work with the chakra system, as well as many other things like organs and glandular system and energy blocks in the body, the energy field. Energy healing can be quite complex, just depending on the modality that you learn or experience.
So we hear maybe sometimes talking about Reiki healing. Is that a way to manage chakras? And can you tell us about it?
So there are many, many, many different types. You can have Tibetan Reiki, Karuna Reiki, Usui Reiki.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many out there, and they all kind of have different vibrations and energies and do different things. And it also depends on the healer themselves, what the healer is trained in. He could potentially work with the chakra system in some way, but I'm not sure how specific it is to that. It just really depends on what type of Reiki it is. But ultimately, Reiki is it's a form of energy that you bring into the body as well. So it is a form of energy work. But usually Reiki is not that specific in terms of, the modality that I use. We're working with the organs and like I said, we're very specific in the blocks in the body and realigning the body. And so you can have more basic sort of energy modalities and you can have more advanced modalities as well.
Sure. So what could be ways to really avoid negative energy?
Well, I think first of all, it's about becoming aware, really aware and really seeing what's going on around you, dynamically, why do you attract certain people into your life? Are you attracting the same person over and over again? Are you attracting the same situations over and over again? Do you need to learn to speak up and stand your ground? Do you need to learn to speak up and say no? You know what I mean? So really to guard yourself from negative energy, you really have to have the ability to see it and to set those boundaries in place so that it doesn't affect you. For example, if people are gossiping and you're sitting in that environment every lunchtime in a gossiping environment and you're not saying anything and you're still going there every day and sitting there, then you're putting yourself in that position with the person or those people and say, hey, you know what? I really feel like having a positive day. Can we not talk negative things about people? Or can we not just create drama or feed into drama? Can we just kind of be happy and talk about something else? Or not to hang around with people like that in the first place, hang around with people who are more a vibrational match to you and your heart-based consciousness.
That's very interesting. So even the quality of like words you're using, the conversation you're getting involved in, what you're focusing, the topics you're focusing on could draw in negative energy into you. And just by staying away from them, you'd be protecting yourself from this type of energy. That's really something very simple that we can, just by being aware, we can all start really noticing what conversations are we taking part in. What other ways maybe to protect ourselves from negative energy other than...
It's all about setting boundaries.
Yes. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah. Why don't you tell us more about setting boundaries?
Yeah, so setting boundaries, is so important in every area of life, in terms of what you will and won't accept, for example, how people treat you, it's, or how people, what kind of respect, you have to be able to respect yourself in order to have respect for people around you. So if someone is disrespecting you and you're not saying anything, or you're not saying them, it's out of line, or you're not, standing up for yourself, then you're kind of accepting that kind of treatment. Do you see what I mean? So
what you're allowing into your life,
yes,
that also is very important. So again, back to setting boundaries and setting boundaries for what you accept to get into your life and what you reject. And how about whenever we listen to the news, or there maybe some kind of the negative news all over, whenever, like here in Egypt, there was just this train that crashed and people lost their lives, and it was really it's a very negative situation but what if you choose not to focus? Of course, you need to sympathize with the situation and offer any help that you can do, if you can. But again, if you choose to really not to focus so much on this negative news, is that a way to really, how involved should you be with your emotions and your attention, and how would that affect whether you draw in negative energy to your surroundings? Is this
sure. So news is very fear-based, and I think just taking it with a pinch of salt, and I wouldn't, for me personally, I don't watch a lot of news at all. I manage to hear the important things if I need to know what they are, but I don't want to sit there and kind of be pulled into any kind of fearful vibrations or lower vibrations. There's a lot going on the planet, and it's about seeing the higher perspective of everything. Everything that is happening with permission of the universe.
Sure.
And it's all soul lessons here that's going on. It's all soul contracts, soul lessons. We're all here to have an experience, whether it be negative or positive. We live in a world of duality. This is what it's all about. It's all about, we're here to learn. And so, what I would say to that is, if you are very sensitive and you do get very easily affected by the news and things like that, then I wouldn't get yourself sucked into it. I would just kind of watch it for a couple of minutes and then switch it to something else.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, sure. Because at a certain level, you can maybe tell us more that if you pay attention to the negative news and you get involved too much and start really criticizing and why did this happen and how they couldn't stop it, you would somehow be
totally
choosing to really get involved.
You're buying into it. Yeah, totally. And I think it all depends on your consciousness when you're watching. Like, for example, me, when I used to be really, really sensitive, and when I was really sensitive, for a good 10 years, I never watched the news ever, because I was just too sensitive, and it would just affect my nervous system. So I just literally didn't tune into it at all. But lately that really strengthened my energy and really strengthened my force field, and I've learned to detach a lot as well. So when I do watch, I watch with non-attachment. I just know that I watch it from a higher perspective, a universal perspective, rather than kind of getting sucked into the lower vibrations. I'm
happy you're saying that, because I chose to stay away from the news and watching TV news, reading the newspapers. I mean, it's been now maybe 4 years that I have completely stopped really watching any news, especially the negative ones. So I'm happy that you're on the same page, and that's really
that's great to hear. Yeah, totally. Because I think you have to be careful about what you're putting into your mind. What kind of consciousness are you feeding yourself with? Do you see what I mean? It's like choose to surround yourself by higher consciousness people, high vibrations, positive vibrations. Listen to music that's high vibrations. Even some like music can really kind of low kind of energy. Be careful where you hang out. Pubs and clubs, everywhere, like you said in the beginning, has a certain energetic vibration, and you're making a choice as to where you're putting yourself and what you're feeding yourself with.
Totally. Yeah, it's very powerful. I mean, we have a choice about regarding how our energy.
Totally.
Great. Yeah. So one other thing that many people associate, being spiritual with the ability to manage your energy, or to really really benefit from energy healing. So do you have to be really spiritual to be able to benefit from energy healing, or?
So, no, not at all. It's just about going into it with an open mind, and, anyone can receive an energy healing. It's just whether you're open to experiencing it and open to trying something new. And, I think that most people that want to experience energy healing, usually they are, slightly spiritually inclined, or they are slightly spiritual souls who've always believed in something different, or may have collected crystals, or may have had certain experiences in their childhood, psychically or spiritually. And so I think it's, if you can go into it with an open mind and just allow yourself to receive an experience, then absolutely it could be for anyone.
Perfect. Great. So for whom do you think energy healing would be of most benefit? So like if you're feeling stressed, maybe anxious, if
Sure.
you're physically drained, when would you seek an energy healer? And
yeah, it's a really good question. So anytime, I'd say when you're feeling stuck, you've been working through some particular emotions that just you haven't really been able to shift through. You've been feeling very heavy. You're kind of at a crossroads in life. You kind of make more of a life. You're in a place of making life decisions, or wanting to do something more passionate or fulfilling in your life. Energy healing can open so many doorways for you to connect in with your soul and ultimately have more soul alignment in your life, bring in more harmony, more flow, more abundance, more happiness, fulfillment. So, it can support you physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Whatever it is you need, usually energy healing can support any of those levels of healing. Even with like you say, energy depletion, if you've got a really scattered mind or overactive mind, and you're not able to get grounded, you're not able to connect with your body, or you have physical symptoms, health problems, or emotional upsets or sadness or grief, energy healing can help all those sorts of things.
Fantastic. That's brilliant. Before we end our conversation, I would like to take some few practical tips from you, maybe around maintaining energy health, maybe around the home. I'm sure as an energy healer, I'm sure you have few things that you keep around in your house. I don't know, maybe certain stones, some kind of I don't know, you tell us, what are things that you keep around you, maybe when you're working around the house, anything that
you sure. So, Himalayan salt lamps, for example, are very nice. They purify the air. They have a wonderful energy. Obviously, having crystals in your home, such as rose quartz, clear quartz, bringing in crystals supports the raising of the vibration of your home and space. On a more practical level, aromatherapy sprays, or room sprays, room mists are made of natural essential oils, are very, very good for uplifting the energy of your space. Also, burning some sage, what we say, Californian white sage, it's called smudging. So burning some sage or burning some frankincense. I have free videos on YouTube that show you how to do all that on my YouTube channel. But,
fantastic.
There's lots.
We'll keep I'll add the link for that on the show notes so people can go and really have a look at the videos. That would be very useful.
Sure. Yeah. So I say those are the basic tools, really, and candles as well, set a wonderful energy and vibration. But ultimately, you have to you need to use some kind of smoke, smudging, or spray to keep your energy clean. And I'd say that's the number one tool to have. I use something like that every single day because we're always releasing energy. And so we need to purify our space as much as we can.
And would you give the same advice? Like, let's say you're traveling and maybe checking into a hotel room and you have no idea who have been to this room before.
Exactly.
Would you use these same techniques to clarify?
Absolutely, yes. That's a really good question. I always have a travel kit with me where I take my sage and my sprays and my crystals. And as soon as I get into a hotel room, I'm spraying a lot. I'm burning the sage a lot. It doesn't seem to set off the fire alarms. It's quite a light smoke. It's not heavy smoke, and it's not disturbing. It's not a disturbing smell. It's quite a nice smell. So yeah, that's absolutely what I would do. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. It's good to know that you can really control the energy wherever you are, any place you step into. There's things that you can do. So that's really keep you empowered, which is
definitely yes.
All right, I think that's the end of our interview with you, Melissa. Thank you for all the valuable information you've shared today with us. And it's been a great pleasure to have you.
Yes, thank you so much. It's been really great to chat with you, and I'm loving, hearing your insights and your questions. It was really great.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. I truly hope you've enjoyed listening to this episode of the Healthy Way podcast with Shahi. You can always find any links mentioned on the show over on the show notes. If you haven't subscribed to the show already, remember to click on the subscribe button next to the podcast. If you scroll further down on the podcast page on your phone, you can tap to rate our show and leave your review on iTunes. I'll see you on the next episode.